Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fearlessly Authentic. I'm your host, Jody Harrison Bauer, and it is so nice to have you join me again this week. I love when you join me every week. If you are new to the show, this is the show where we educate you, empower you with that education, entertain you a little bit, and inspire you to live your most fearlessly authentic life. Because, in my humble opinion, what are we doing here if we are not trying to become our most authentic selves every single day? And it's not always easy. And that is why I named the show Fearlessly Authentic, because after I got global headlines, made global headlines with Sports Illustrated Swim, I tried out for Sports Illustrated Swim when I was 58 years old. I was the oldest person to ever try out. This was an open call for any woman to try out to be in Sports Illustrated Swim, which is an iconic brand in itself. And my youngest daughter encouraged me quite a bit to try out because she knew that for such a long time, my message has been about not boxing us in, not conforming to what society thinks of women who are postmenopausal. Women over 55, for the most part, are postmenopausal. However, if you are a woman going through menopause right now and you are still getting your period, but you're having a lot of the symptoms, that means you're perimenopausal. If you have gone a year without getting your period completely, nothing, no period whatsoever, a full year, 365 days, you have gone without getting a period. And that means you are postmenopausal and you still have a lot of the symptoms that you had when you were in perimenopause. So for one day only, you get to say that you are menopausal. Anything before that is perimenopause. Everything after that is postmenopause. Okay. So my platform in trying out for Sports Illustrated was to be the person to show other women that age will not define us, and postmenopausal or not, we need to be seen and we need to be heard. And that took me to global headlines. And I am grateful for that. I did not make it into the magazine, but I am the oldest finalist to have ever gotten that far. I competed against women more than half my age. So for those of you who have heard this story about me, the reason I'm bringing it up is because I think that there has been, well, it's not that I think, I know that there has been so much emphasis lately on the older woman, specifically the postmenopausal woman. And I'm so happy to hear about that because it's about time we we are being heard, because for so many years, many years, we were just sort of put out to pasture. We weren't going to produce any more children, so why bother with us? And now that we're living so much longer, due to education, due to medical advances, um, there are a lot more postmenopausal women out there, and they're making a splash. They are not being quiet. They refuse to be overlooked, neglected, to be seen. They refuse not to be seen. They want their voices heard and they want to be seen. And I have been on this journey for a long time. I'm 63 years old. I've been postmenopausal for 13 years. And it wasn't until I posted a video last year after I was sick in the hospital with food poisoning, salmonella, and I needed to post something. And I said, you know what? Let me just post this video. And it was a video of me walking. If you follow me, I do the walking a lot, but I put up a different message. And that message was that I was born in 1960, postmenopausal for 12 years, and I was 62 years old. And that video went viral, like really viral, not like little viral, like 27 million views viral. And that was enough to tell me that what I'm talking about what I want to explore on the show and what I want to be fearlessly authentic in talking about is being a postmenopausal woman and how powerful it can be, and that, of course, nobody's sending it out to pasture because we're gonna leave screaming and kicking. Point is, nobody's going to be dragging us out of being a part of society. Nobody's going to neglect us because we're a postmenopausal woman. And one of the things that I can reflect on right now is thinking about, and I've shared this with you before, um, but in a different viewpoint, different perspective. So when I started competing at 45, and everybody told me I was too old to be doing it, competing in fitness shows, I ignored them because I knew that it was going to take me somewhere, someplace where I needed to be heard and seen, because in so many parts of my life prior to that, I did not feel heard or seen. I felt heard and seen by some people, but because I was always at the gym, I was always eating healthy, making sure that I had enough protein and leafy greens and low glycemic fruit and healthy fats, that my friends weren't doing that. They didn't really want to hear about it, you know? So it's not as if they said, Jody, we don't want to hear from you, but they didn't want to because they never asked me, hey, what are you doing? Oh, that looks like a good idea. But nobody wanted to know. And so I kept it to myself. Again, I had this weird inner knowing. I have like a very weird inner knowing. Like, I just know. And I used to be a people pleaser. And once I decided to get divorced over 20 years ago, I stopped being a people pleaser because I knew that it was a waste of my time. And the only one who can walk in our shoes is ourselves. And nobody could tell us what to do. They could suggest strongly. But at the end of the day, we're going to make those decisions for ourselves. And, I realize that with my own daughters, I could talk until I'm blue in the face, but they've got to figure things out for themselves, just as my clients had to figure things out. I had clients come to me who were like, yeah, 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 to all the food. Sure, sure, sure. Yep, I'm on board. I get it. Yep, I'm doing everything you say. And then nothing changes. Nothing changes because they never change. They thought coming to me 3 times a week for an hour would change the way they looked and felt in their body. But the truth is, they didn't want to do the hard stuff, which was looking at the food they were eating, which was actually making them unhealthy and feeling uncomfortable in their body, which is why they first came to me in the first place. Okay. So, fast forward, you know, the whole thing, competing and then Sports Illustrated, owning studios and training women for 35 years. And all of these things were really aligned with me. And I remember I was talking to somebody today, and a good friend, and she said, Jody, we know the struggles that you went through early on, like 20 years ago, like when I talk about my divorce. And I only use that as a reference point to when I started walking in my truth, understanding the power, walking in my power, walking in my strength, walking in my truth, walking in my authentic self, that things started to change. And just like that video I referred to that went viral, it's because I didn't put much thought to it because I was confident in what I was doing. And when you have to overthink things a lot, that usually means they're not aligning with your mission, your purpose, and that you're kind of fighting against it. So that fight is fear and ego versus intuition. So gut instinct, fear, ego, gut instinct. What do we follow? Well, when we follow our gut, that usually means that we're being our authentic selves. Like that gut punch feels a lot when you start playing the games from your head to your heart, but your gut's telling you something differently. That's what you need to follow. But most people don't because they're scared, myself included. I remember saying to myself, Jody, you've got to follow your gut more. You've got to follow your gut more. Stop listening to your heart and your head. You can listen to those things, but what your head is telling you is that's your fear and your ego, right? Your fear is up here, your ego might be in your heart, but your heart and your head are different than your gut. And it's interesting because following your gut and having a healthy gut are very important to your overall health. So it's important to differentiate the two. And it's really, really hard because we all have a heart. We all have, we have our ego and our fear, which stop us from doing the things that our gut is telling us. I hope that makes sense. I think that makes sense to everybody. And that's your truth. And that's why gut health is so important. Ironic, right? Gut health is so important to the way we feel. And when we follow our gut, we don't really think about being judged. We don't think about what other people will say. We don't care about if somebody doesn't like what we posted or said or shamed us. We don't care. And that's how I felt when I shared my tummy tuck. That's how I felt when I shared being postmenopausal. Like I didn't even give it that much thought because it just felt right. So whenever you get that feeling where it just feels right, whether it's moving, I use these examples a lot, whether it's moving, maybe it's starting a new career, maybe it's finding a coach to help you in your business or in fitness. If those things keep calling to you, there's a reason for it. And if you keep meeting people that keep telling you or feeding you the same message, it's like, wait a minute, why is all of this happening? Were you manifesting it? Were you thinking about it? Were you dreaming about it? But damn it, you're still not listening to your gut. What the hell's the matter with you, Jody? That's what I would say. Why are you letting fear stop you? And I knew that's what it was. I knew darn well that it was fear that was getting in my way. But we didn't talk like that to ourselves. I knew it was fear. I could feel it. You know, you could feel fear. We didn't say those things out loud. And I sound like I'm talking about caveman days or something, but this was 20 years ago, but a lot has changed in 20 years, you know? Um, so when I was talking to this friend of mine today, and she said, you know, Jody, I know about the struggles that you had. I know about your divorce. I know about, you know, a lot of the struggles you went through in your 40s and 50s. And by the way, you guys, I, when I think about those times in my 40s and 50s, um, it's interesting to think that I was perimenopausal, then postmenopausal. And that's a really tricky time in a woman's life to navigate around. So if you are listening and you are going through menopause, let's call it menopause because it's peri and post. If you are going through it right now, please be kind to yourself. Get help from a hormone expert because you do not need to suffer. I say this all the time on Instagram. You do not need to suffer, ladies and men. If you are listening, your significant other, your wife, your grandmother, your mother, they don't need to suffer and they need to see a hormone expert. And that is somebody who specializes in hormone replacement therapy. And this does not necessarily mean the pellets. The pellets used to be a really good thing back in the day. But if you really, really want somebody to replace the hormones you've lost, like just a few estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, you really need to go to somebody who knows how to read your lab results and knows how to optimize those levels, not keep you in the range. We don't want to be in the range. Talked about this last week very briefly. We don't want to be in the range. We want to be at optimal levels. Maybe I didn't talk about this last week, but I talked about it on Instagram. And I talk about this a lot. So if you're not following me on Instagram, just follow me at Jody Harrison Bauer. And that's it's just a very difficult time to navigate through life. And it's funny, when I was thinking about this, I was talking to my friend that a lot of women file for divorce in their 40s. And I would love to see a test, like do a poll, like how many of those women were perimenopausal. Um, because back in the day when my mom was going through menopause, they just told women they were crazy. So I'm here to tell you, ladies, you are not crazy. You just need to find out what your hormone level should be. And if you have not gone through menopause yet, if you're not perimenopausal, which usually happens in your late 30s, but could happen in your early 30s, go get your blood work done and find out where your levels are right now and see if they're optimized. And if they're not optimized, get them optimized so you know after you've gone through menopause, you're postmenopausal and the tank is empty, that you know what your levels were. How smart are you to know what your damn levels are? I didn't know this. Nobody told me this because nobody was talking about hormone replacement therapy. It was still a very bad word. And, I saw on somebody's post, I don't even remember, it was like some random post I went to about, oh, I know what it was, some battery operated hair remover, like peach fuzz on your face or your mustache, your chin, because when you're going through menopause, your hormones are so imbalanced and crazy that some women lose hair, some women get hair. But a lot of women get hair because the hormones are so unbalanced, and they get hair on their face and they don't even know why they're getting it. It's because of hormonal imbalances. So I saw that somebody wrote something about about uh, hormones and said something about hormone replacement therapy. And then another person responded by saying, I would never do that. It causes cancer. It does not cause cancer. Okay. So if you are with the right person, okay, they will explain to you why hormone replacement therapy. That is old school thinking. This is bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. I am not an expert. I am not a doctor. I am not a healthcare provider in any way. All I can tell you is from my own experiences and what I've learned about hormone replacement therapy. And let me tell you something, you ladies are so lucky that you have this available to you. It's not cheap, but it's available to you as an option. I didn't even have this available. My doctor just threw estrogen, a low dose of estrogen at me. But again, it's a very hard time to navigate. Your children are usually like little kids, teenagers, tough, tough ages to be going through menopause. Uh, if you're in a heterosexual relationship and you've been married 10 years or so, because let's say you got married at 33 and you're going through perimenopause, you're having those symptoms, and the kids are 10, 11, 12, 15, whatever, and your husband's working a lot, you're working a lot. It's hard, ladies. So please give yourself some compassion and know that the light is at the end of the tunnel. And that's what I'm talking about today is here I am at 63 years old. And I'm not saying, hey, hurry up and get to your 60s. But being in your 60s is not what it was like for your mother or grandmother. It is a different kind of 60s. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Going back to the question that my friend asked me today, like, we know about your struggles, Jody, from when you were like in your 40s and 50s, but what about now? Do you have any new struggles? And the truth is, I don't have that many struggles anymore because I went through so friggin' much in my 40s and 50s. I struggled so much. And when I talk about struggling, I'm talking about going from being a stay-at-home mom to having, alimony for a while and child support for a while. So I wasn't without money, but I knew I had to figure out shit really fast. So when I was 50 and over, that I had an income stream. So I had to learn and pivot really quickly on how I can make money and how I could do something that I loved and make money and still have flexible hours so I could be home with my daughters after school. So that brought me to the place that I loved, which was working out. So I got certified, and I had been training women in teaching classes, training women already because I had a ton of certifications. But I was going to go for the big kahuna. I was going to get NASM certified, and nothing was going to get in my way. And that was the best thing I ever did, was turn my passion into a purpose for profit. And that's exactly what I did. So the struggles, it's the struggles behind you that lead you to where you are right now. So I can talk about all those struggles I had in my 40s and 50s and say, here I am in my 60s. And did I struggle from the time I was 60 until now? Little struggles, little struggles. Um, like in 2020, when I was 59, I turned 60 at the end of 2020. That was a tough year. It was a tough year for a lot of people. The struggles were real. It was really, really hard to be in the fitness business then. Coming back in July, being closed for 3 months, figuring out how to keep all the ladies at my studio engaged and feel like I was there for them, giving them workouts to do at home. But the reason that they were coming to the studio was because they needed the motivation. They liked the social part. So look, it was hard for all of us. And then coming back from COVID and not being able to have as many women in class, and my instructors getting sick, or their husbands or their kids or their parents who watch the kids getting sick. Some women not wanting to wear masks in the room. And it was just a shit show. Okay. So anyone who owned a gym back then, a small independent gym, I know that you can totally understand what I'm talking about. Eventually, so that was a big struggle. It really was. And coming off of Sports Illustrated in 2019, I realized that I could reach a global audience. I didn't have the podcast then. And I thought, after I was on Good Morning America, I thought, wow, look at all those women in the audience. They want to hear from me. I could have a global impact on postmenopausal women, because the word postmenopausal wasn't even being talked about then. It was still that icky, icky, icky word. Like, who wants to say the word menopause? And I get the dumbest reactions from men, you're pausing on men. Actually, yeah, that's what how a lot of women feel. They feel that they just want to put a pause on men. So that was a struggle. And then when things got a little bit better in, so 2020, 2021 was tough. And by 2022, I had decided to get rid of all of the group fitness classes and just go back to my original business model, which was one-on-one training. I started offering less and less classes because at that point, if you recall, a lot of people were enjoying working out at home. They were like, home workouts are the thing. I did this for 3 months. I could keep doing this. This is great. This is great. So then they didn't want to come in and spend the money on training, on classes anymore. But my one-on-one clients, my private clients, still came to see me. So I offered less classes. I was teaching the classes, and I was doing the one-on-one training. And eventually, halfway through 2021, beginning of 2022, I decided to just go back to the original business model of one-on-one training. That's it, done. And then I closed the studio at the end of October of 2022. I had one more year on my lease, and I mean, not one more year, one more month. And so um, I remember when I first got the space, I said, let me only do this for 3 years. But it made more sense to do it for 5 years. And then COVID hit after 3 years. So That wasn't, who would have known? Nobody would have known about that. So that was a struggle. That was a struggle over the age of 60. I went on hormone replacement therapy at after a few months after my 60th birthday. And because I started feeling differently in my body than I had ever had. In my mid 50s, I might have gained like at the most, I gained like 5 or 8 pounds. And I was like, whoa, I never weighed this much in my life. And I realized, okay, Jody, maybe you need to start uh, really zeroing in on your healthy diet again, because I just never had a weight problem. But menopause will do that for you, ladies. And being on hormone replacement therapy, just so you know, is not um, the magic pills or cream to lose weight. Going on hormone replacement therapy doesn't help you lose weight. Hormone replacement therapy just helps you balance your hormones. You still need to work out and you still need to eat healthy. And so I gave myself some time off. I had the tummy tuck in November 2022. And then I gave myself time. I stopped working with whatever coaches I was working with. I still did the podcast, but that was it. I just wanted to be still. I wanted to spend a lot of time with my daughters, and I just wanted to be still. I want to be home. I want to take walks with my dog. I want to spend time with my husband. I just needed to be still, because owning a business, as a lot of you know who are listening, and especially a fitness studio, it is mentally and physically exhausting. Not only are you picking up weights, handing them to your clients, you're also taking them from your clients, you're also watching everything that they do and helping them with their mindset, because most of their transformation has to do with the way they're looking at things, at the new lifestyle they wanted to have, the one they said they wanted to have when they hired me as their coach. So while they're working out, I am trying to motivate them without them ever knowing, like through osmosis. So there's a lot of talking going on. There's a lot of movement going on. There's a lot of counting going on, and making sure their form is correct, making sure that they are always, always safe, and leaving feeling great about what they did. So there's a lot involved. So when you look at your personal trainer, your health and wealth, your health coach, your health is your wealth, though. So that slipped out of my mind, out of my mouth. But the next time you get together with your coach or your trainer, realize that he or she is doing a lot more than picking up the weights and putting together a program for you. What they're really doing is helping you change your lifestyle. So the struggles were keeping my clients happy, and then helping them move on from working out with me to a new coach. And for most of them, I helped to integrate and invited them to work out with trainers that I trusted. And a bunch of them did go ahead and work with a wonderful trainer that I recommended to them. So the struggle during COVID was hard, but I had a lot of support. What was different from the struggles that I was going through this time was that I had a support system, versus in my 40s and 50s, I didn't ask for support. I didn't look for support. I felt guilty if I asked for support. And this time, the people that I surround myself with now just intuitively were there to support me. I didn't need to ask for support. They were there for me. So after I was just still for a while, and also spending a lot of time with both of my daughters and at home, I decided to share my tummy tuck publicly, something I didn't think I was going to do. But as I said at the beginning of this show, there was the reason I didn't share it right away or take you through the whole journey was because I was scared of being judged and my ego didn't want to feel it. I didn't want to feel shamed. I didn't want to get my feelings hurt. I didn't want somebody to tell me you shouldn't have done it. Instead of, well, I did follow my gut. That was the thing. So I was scared, but my gut told me, Jody, sit with it for a while. So that's why I didn't do it. It was initially fear. No, 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 I'm never going to share this with anybody. No, 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 I'm scared. No, no, I don't want to hear the haters. I don't want to be judged. No, 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 no. And then as I started living with this new flat stomach, I wanted to share it with people. I wanted to tell them that, like, hey, here's this really cool thing that I did. And just like with HRT, you don't need to suffer. If you have loose skin or you have abdominal muscles that have separated because of having babies, you can fix that. And you shouldn't be shamed or feel guilty about it because this is your life, this is your body, and everybody else could just shut the hell up. But at the time when I did it, I wasn't ready. And I respected myself for that time. When I started thinking about everything that I went through, I felt, you know what, it's time. And I didn't care about the judgment or the shaming or anything. Just like when I put out that video of being postmenopausal, I didn't care. I didn't think about it enough. It aligned with my gut. I was following my intuition. When you follow your intuition, decisions come easy. When you're not following your gut, your intuition, but you're allowing fear or ego to lead you, decisions are hard. And you know why they're hard? Because they're not aligned with what you want to do. You're going against the grain. It's like driving your car in the opposite direction. Nothing good's going to come of that, right? God forbid. So, yes, I did have struggles, but I learned how to handle them more and better. I had a support system this time. And that's why the struggles don't seem so intense. Also, my daughters are older. I've, been independent for a long time, even though I'm married, but I'm just a different woman than I was. So I don't feel the same way about myself. I'm much more confident. So the reason I don't think I had so many struggles was because I was living in my authentic life. I was living more authentically. I wasn't hiding. I wasn't trying to dim my light. I wasn't trying to be quiet if I had something to say and if it bothered somebody else. I was true to myself. And that's why the struggles don't feel so big this time. So after I was still for a little while, I decided that, I made that post about being postmenopausal, which went viral. I really, really leaned into that and started posting a lot of things about being postmenopausal and educating and getting more guests on the show that could talk about being a postmenopausal woman and the things that are out there to help us live the lives that we want to live and feel the way we want to feel in our body and in our mind, rather than just going off into the pastures. And it came to me that I had a bunch of ideas. I wanted to create an app for women over 60, and I wanted to put out a program for the women who wanted to feel hot and healthy. And so with a year and a half off of not creating anything and very, very much missing the relationships I had with the women that I trained. And by the way, I thought I would never go back to training women. Never, ever, ever. I said, I'm done. I've been doing this for over 30 years and I'm never going to do this again. But the truth is, you can't run away from your passions. And I realized that, the name of my studio was called Jody Fit, that I'm always going to be Jody Fit because that's my identity. That's my whole feminine essence. I am Jody Fit. And it doesn't make a difference if my name is Jody Harrison Bauer or Jody Harrison. I'll always be Jody Fit. And I realized that I really missed talking to the women and helping them. And there were so many women that were DMing me and asking me, or, right on the page, they would be asking me, like, what could I do for this? What should I be eating? How much protein should I be eating? How many hours should I be working out a week? What should I be doing if my butt is flat now? Everything. And I thought, oh my God, I need to get back out there and help these women. But how? I'm not going to open up a studio again. And like in the last 6 to 9 months, there are a lot of fitness studios that are reopening again. I mean, there were a lot that opened up, all the big ones opened up, but there seems to be a desire for that one-on-one connection and very boutique studios. Now, I created my boutique studio in 2010 when nobody had a boutique studio, but there seems to be a strong desire for that connection, right? Because we tried the virtual training and it worked really well for a while, especially as everybody was getting COVID and not COVID and we didn't know what was going on and all that other good stuff. But I thought, okay, I want to create an app for women over 60 and I want to create a program for them. But how do I create a program online? I don't know. I don't know how to do this. What do I do? So I found a coach and we created the Hot and Healthy Accelerator, which launched May 1st. And I can't tell you how good it felt to be back with these ladies I never knew from all over the country, and how blessed I feel that I found them, they found me, and that I could help them. That was scary. It wasn't a struggle, but it took me a while to get over my fear. What if it sucks? What if it fails? What if nobody signs up? All these women know everything, everything that we say to each other, like, how much am I going to teach them? They probably know all this stuff, but the truth is, no. I realized that they did need me because all of those women who were DMing me needed this information. But I was scared of failing because I know what the struggle feels like. Doesn't feel great to struggle. I didn't want to fail. I don't like failing, but I know that the only way we can grow is to fail. It's like doing that bicep curl, doing those lunges. You can't build a big booty without going to failure. You cannot build a bicep without going to failure. And then you rest, and then you come back and you train that muscle to grow and grow and grow. And eventually you're growing muscle, which is going to help you live longer and keep your heart stronger and all the benefits that go with lifting weights. A few weeks ago, back in May, I had Dr. Gabrielle Lyon on my show, and she wrote the best-selling book Forever Strong. And it is an amazing book. And the interview was terrific. And I really appreciated her being on the show. And she talks about the importance of skeletal muscle. And little did I know that for the last 35 years, I've been talking about muscle. And knowing that it would lead to longevity for me, but never putting it into those kind of words. So it's great to have people like Dr. Lyon educating us and empowering us with that knowledge. And because we go back to when the 90s and none of my friends were working out. So they were just looking at me like I was crazy. So now, as I said, everybody's working out and everybody is understanding the benefits, just like other people. So many people are understanding that women are living longer, that we need to figure out how to navigate through being a postmenopausal woman is because we are postmenopausal until the day we die. So we need to navigate this time in our life longer than women have ever had to do it before. So let's be fit. Let's be healthy. Let's have a healthy mind, a healthy body. And the hormones can make us feel crazy. And if your tank is empty, like mine was in my 50s, oh, hello. That's why I gained 8 pounds for a while because the friggin' tank was empty. What do I mean by the tank was empty? I had no hormones left. There was nothing, no testosterone, no progesterone, no estrogen. I also take thyroid and DHEA. So the tank was empty. Now that it's not, and I'm 63 and my hormones still are not at optimal levels, but let me tell you, it's a lot better than I was in my 50s. And oh, by the way, I was still competing and came in second in a world show against 45-year-olds at the age of 55 with an empty tank. So I'm also here to say that if I can do it, you can do it. You just need to want it badly enough. And that's what Hot and Healthy was really about. I promised these ladies that I was not going to sugarcoat or bullshit them through any of this stuff. That there's so much information out there. There's, three types of women out there or men. But I'm talking to women. There are 3 types of women out there. There's the know-it-all Nancy. She knows everything, but she's afraid to take the steps and she needs permission to go forward. There's the settling Sally. I like her. Settling Sally. She just is like, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need any information. I'm good. I'm okay being like this at 65. I'm okay being like this at 68. But I know she's not. You know why I know? Because I'm really smart and I know women. So she needs help taking action. And then there's our quick fix junkie. She just wants a quick fix. What can I buy? What can I buy? What can I buy? What can I buy? Uses it once, might get a quick fix, dopamine hit. But all she's looking is for a Band-Aid solution. So I realized that Nancy needed permission, Sally needed to take action, and our quick fix junkie needed a long-lasting solution. And born was Hot and Healthy. I took them through 6-week program where we talked about their goals, their own goals that they created for themselves, goals that were doable, goals that were realistic, goals that were sustainable, no quick fixes, because nothing good comes from a quick fix. Think about all the quick fixes you've had. That's it. That's it. For the moment, you feel satisfied, but that doesn't take you through your life. So we started with a realistic plan. From there, we set the goals, we created the plan, and then we talked about how to get their mind in the game. So many of us feel like we can sit on the side of the fence and say, you know what? It's good. It's good. I'm just going to watch the game from here. Really? You don't want to jump in the game? You're good just sitting on the sidelines for the rest of your life? No, come on. If you want to jump in the game, then join Hot and Healthy. And those ladies did. So we had their no BS blueprint plan. We had their mindset. Now we're going to get into the nitty gritty. Are you ready? Now we're going to talk nutrition. And I created the Jumpstart meal plan. Actually, it was the Jumpstart meal plan. It's called the Hot and Healthy meal plan now. And it will be for sale next week, I believe, if you go to my website, www.jodyharrisonbauer.com. And you can buy it there. I'm trying to make it also into a book instead of just a PDF or an ebook, because I know me, I would rather have a book than have to go to the printer and copy all of those pages, because I don't learn well by just reading something online. I could read it like to learn something, but if I'm reading something and I want to have it with me all the time, I don't want to have to always look at my phone. I don't know about you guys, but I'm so sick of looking at my phone all the time. So they got the Hot and Healthy meal plan, which has a 21-day journal on it. And if you buy it, you will get the journal that comes with it. And so we talked about nutrition, and then we talked about all types of exercises they can do, starting on how to move their body. And it doesn't include using weights. You can do resistance training with your own body weight. And that's where I start all of my clients. Anybody who's never lifted weights, even the women who do come to me who have lifted weights, it's usually the first couple of workouts we do with no weights, because I want to let them know how powerful their body actually is without weights, and that they could do this workout anywhere. So they have no excuses, because I do not tolerate excuses. I don't know. I'm a hard ass, but I'm very, very sweet. I'm very, very nurturing. And then how do we do this by, embodying it all? How do we do this? How do we embody all of it? And that's bringing the whole thing together, looking back at our plan, looking at what we can do to stay in the game, keep our mind in the game. Because after all, you came into this Hot and Healthy accelerator because I was going to accelerate the progress that you can make by giving you no BS ways to reclaim the body that you want. It's all about reclaiming yourself. And these ladies wanted to reclaim themselves. And I gave them the no BS way to do it. But putting this program together, I was scared. Luckily, I had my coach hold my hand throughout the entire thing. And I couldn't have done it without her. And it was a great program. And now I was really proud of myself for what I created and what the ladies were able to learn from me. And it felt great to be in this arena again, helping women. It's my passion. It's my purpose. And I guess I'm kind of lucky that doing this is my passion. And I would suggest that nobody does anything they don't like to do just for a paycheck, because eventually you're going to hate what you do and the money's not going to mean anything to you. So I always put my passion and purpose before profit. And so this was really satisfying to me. And I knew I wanted to do it again. But I struggled with, will anybody buy this? Will it be a failure? Will I want to do this again? Is this just going to be a one-time thing? I'm being really, really honest with you all, because I want you to believe in yourselves that at any time, at any stage, in any age of your life, you can be scared to make those decisions in your life that might change your life. But if you follow your gut, it's not going to bring you to a negative place. I promise you, when you follow your gut, you're following your gut intuition. You're not letting fear or ego get in the way. And I know I talked about this last week a little bit, but it's so important because I have allowed fear to stop me. which is why I named the show Fearlessly Authentic. It was after Sports Illustrated. And I never want to change the name of the show because it still resonates with me and resonates with so many of our listeners here. So if you are thinking about making a change in your life, if you are thinking about launching a program, changing your lifestyle, getting healthier, shedding some body fat and body weight, getting into the best damn shape of your life, moving to another place, to another country, leaving your relationship, maybe leaving a friendship, maybe doing something you've always dreamed of doing, like competing in fitness shows and not knowing where the hell it was going to take you, but you followed your gut and you knew it was going to take you somewhere. When you do that, it will take you to a higher ground and you will start motivating other people. You will start vibrating on a higher level. It just happens when you follow your gut. And I was talking to somebody today about how it even affects like when you're single and you're dating and you're trying to be somebody that you think he or she wants you to be. And the first couple of dates go well, but then you stop hiding behind that persona and you become yourself. Does that relationship end because that person only liked the person you were pretending to be? Or does that relationship get richer because you were both more aligned? It's hard when you're feeling insecure and not confident to be truly authentic. I know it is because I went through it myself. And that's why I say at the beginning of the show that it's not always easy. But I urge you all, I encourage you all that even if you're scared, do it. Go to that place in your gut where it speaks to you truthfully. Your gut's never going to lie to you. And if you rely on it more and more and more, you can truly be fearlessly authentic. Thank you, everybody, for listening today. I'm so happy you were here to join me. And you can reach out to me on Instagram at Jody Harrison Bauer or Facebook, not really on TikTok that much. Or you can email me at, I don't remember what the email is that I use, but you can email me, jody@jodyharrisonbauer.com. And you can also go to my website, which is under construction right now. So don't go there right now, but it's jodyharrisonbauer.com. So for now, everybody, until next week, go live your most fearlessly authentic life. Bye-bye, everyone.